Hello, it's Mike here. I'm doing a video for each of the main conferences. I didn't bother watching EA or Ubisoft because, quite frankly, most of the games that are worth mentioning will be mentioned in the other um, conferences. So this is a conference. Um, this is going to cover the Microsoft conference, and going from my notes, so bear with me. The first thing they announced was Halo 5. It's like, it's Halo. Love it or hate it. If you like Halo, you'll probably like Halo 5, and they're introducing, is it 4-player co-op where you can play through the game, and there's a couple new deathmatch type things. Then the next thing they announced was a game called ReCore, and I'm just going by what people have written because I don't know, I was just tired. Apparently, it's from the creator Keiji Inafune and the makers of Metroid Prime. So, to quote here, it says here, a classic action adventure reimagined for a new generation. So, if you like that, you like that. Now, the next thing they mentioned, excuse me, was Xbox 360 backwards compatibility. And you've got to understand one thing. This is not the same as Sony's backwards compatibility with the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3. It will probably be very similar to the Xbox 360, where each game will have its own little bit of software that enables the Xbox One to run 360 games. And they initially announced that there will be 100 games which will be compatible by December, which is very good. I mean, to be fair, they should have actually thought about this and released it day one, but better late than never at all. Still can't understand why it can't run Xbox original games, seeing as they're both PCs. If you don't believe me, go and check the specs out. One is using an Intel processor with NVIDIA, the other is using AMD. They're both PCs, and they're both running Windows. But anyway, at least that's a step in the right direction. I mean, we can complain about everything, but that was a nice thing. And I think that was quite a major announcement because backwards compatibility is fawning most people's sights. We've become so used to it. I mean, the Wii U runs Wii games, the Wii runs GameCube games, etc., that we expect it. So it's a good thing, and I think it will please a lot of fans. Also, they mentioned that when you run 360 games on the Xbox One, they will run at a higher resolution and supposedly better. Now, better is subjective at the best of times, so take that with a pinch of salt until we actually see performances of the games. You know, but at least it's a good thing. Then they announced Fallout 4, which we knew about already, but it will allow you to transfer mods designed for the PC. Now, obviously, there's going to be certain types of mods which aren't going to work. An example, PCs can run 4K. So if you've got Fallout 4 running at 4K, it's not going to work on your 1080p display. The computer will think, what the hell am I meant to do with this? Screen doesn't work. So, apart from the obvious ridiculously high textured rubbish, well, it's not rubbish, but it's not needed really. But apart from that, you'll be able to run mods. Now, the next thing that stuck in my mind was that they're releasing a new Rainbow Six game, or it's called Rainbow Six Siege, and it will come with Rainbow Six Vegas 1 and 2 for free, which I suspect is the 360 versions with the compatibility software. But it's nice to get free. Then afterwards, I remember Dark Souls 3, which was quite a surprise because if you think about it, Sony has always been the home of From Software. Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, And then you got Bloodborne on the PlayStation 4. Although, to be fair, what was it? Was it Dark Souls? No, Demon Souls, I think, came out on the 360. Yeah, I think Demon Souls came out on the 360. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the Dark Souls didn't. So that was quite a surprise. They announced that they're going to have something called Xbox Game Preview, which is similar to the early service that Valve offer, and that there will be demos of all the different trials. So if you want to try a new game, you don't have to pay money like you do with Steam, and then find out it's a buggy piece of crap. And the games that they announced was Elite Dangerous, which is interesting because there's a lot of fans who've been waiting for that game. That's a space trading game. It was quite popular back in the early 1980s to 90s. And something called The Long Dark, which would be available today, as in yesterday. And then later on, they announced Sheltered and DayZ would also be available. And I'll just quickly go for the other games. Ashen is an RPG wandering around in search of a place to call home. Beyond Eyes, Modern Fairy Tale, Cuphead. Now, Cuphead was an interesting game because it looked a lot like those 16-bit run along type of games, but they purposely made it with a 1930s feel to it. So you got this weird contrast. You got this purposely downgraded looking game with animation no one at the show probably would have seen, especially as it was the 30s. But I think it might be interesting because it's different. I like different. Fable's Legend, don't care. Rise of the Tomb Raider, well, we knew about that. Sea of Thieves, it says here, the freedom of the pirate life awaits. And I think that was a rare game. So I'll wait until I see a bit more because you can't really sort of gauge anything from a trailer, really. Then they had something called Tacoma, which is apparently of exploration, isolation. I'm just reading here because I forgot. What is life like 200,000 miles from Earth? Uncover the mysteries held by Lunar Transfer Station Tacoma and its crew living on the edge. And this is the one where apparently the crew's disappeared, and you got one person going, "Hello, hello, is anyone here?" And they come up to this door, and she's got this howl type voice, computer, and she asks the computer, "If I open this door, what will I find?" And that was the end of the trailer. And Tom Clancy's The Division. Now, in my opinion, it's a bit more crap. FIFA 16, don't care. I've got FIFA 15 still sealed. It came with my Xbox 360. Never will play it. Forza Motorsport 6. The game itself is Forza Motor 6, but the thing that I thought was amazing, they had this brand new Ford GT40. And before you ask, no, I wasn't alive when the original GT40 came out in the 1960s and won Le Mans over and over again. But they basically dropped this massive car down to show the new game, and you got the usual spill. I don't know about you, but some of these shows, it's like watching the game version of politics because the amount of buzzwords that are used, it's like, oh man, this is going to be great. Forza 6, it is better than 5. Well, I don't expect you to come out and say Forza 6 is worse than 5. Anyway, Gears of War Ultimate Edition. What is the point? One game. Really? You're going to re-release Gears of War 1? Well, and also you got backwards compatibility? And then afterwards they announced Gears of War 4, which is Gears of War. And I'm just going to go for the rest of the games. Gigantic. Apparently it's a new free-to-play shooter where hostiles battle along a massive guardian. And it's also free-to-play on Windows 10. But I don't have Windows 10 and I'm not going to get it. I just spent a fucking fortune on 2 PCs. Anyway. Madden NFL 16. Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2. Really? I mean, this program is turning into another version of Peggle or Angry Birds. I mean, how many different versions can you have before you think, I can't be bothered? Now, something that was interesting was something called Rare Replay, where they will have 30 games for $30. That's $1 a game. Even if you didn't like half of them, that's still a bargain because you're still getting 15 games you really like. And yeah, that's about it. But I think overall, Microsoft did a really, really good job. Okay, it wasn't. It could have been better, but well, that goes without saying. But I think that they're learning because if we think about 2 years ago, where they almost humiliated themselves on stage, and then last year it was better. Well, this year I think it's even better than last year. And if they keep that up, because quite frankly, I had no hopes for Microsoft. I just couldn't see any games. So they've done a really good job of actually preventing leaks coming out. And for Microsoft, that is an achievement. So good to Microsoft. And the next thing we'll cover will be Sony's conference. Anyway, thanks so much. Bye.